My race in a pizza topping would be... Do they put shishito peppers on pizza?
I don't think so.
Why not? So someone put a shishito pepper on a pizza, because then, you know, you've eaten shishito peppers 100 times and nothing's gone wrong. And then for whatever reason, out of the blue, you eat a shishito pepper, bam, spicy feet. Like my feet blistered up in the race. So if I had to describe my race, it would be that one spicy shishito pepper.
Ready to go?
Let's do it.
Flip screen.
So my name is Tyler Clements. I am 33 years old. First ultra race was in 2019. First attempt was the Indiana Trail 100. I did not finish. My hip was still very messed up and so was my leg. It was not a good idea. Second attempt was at the Badger Mountain Challenge, where I made it 70 miles and then did not finish. A lot of lessons were learned that day, which is what it's all about. Third attempt, the Oregon Cascades 100, which I did finish. Fourth attempt was Cascade Crest, which went very well last year, 2023. Finished that out and back course, which was different than it normally is. Veterans will say that it's a more difficult course. I got to do the 2-mile tunnel twice. I got to ascend the rope section in the darkness. 5 was at across the years this past year. My goal was definitely to go over 100 miles.
I'm not counting that.
Why not?
I just want true, like the race was just 100 miles.
Oh, okay. So then if across the years does not count, which the goal was to go over 100 miles the second time, but apparently...
It's a last person standing format.
It's a last person standing format, so it doesn't count. Then I have attempted 5 100-mile races, and this was my 5th one. And I'm here to tell you how it went. Targeting about 9 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight is the recommendation. And so that meant I was getting, my goal was anywhere between 600 and like 700 grams of carbs each day, which meant I was eating quite a bit all the time. And yeah, it became quite the struggle on the second day, especially when it came down to the pasta meal that happened right before, or at packet pickup, and I was just shoveling pasta in and not really feeling it, but knew I needed to top off those glycogen stores because it would pay back big time in the race.
What was your fueling strategy?
My fueling strategy is a little unique. Specifically what that mixture is water, maple syrup, cluster dextrin, cherry juice, lemon juice, and salt. And that was my main fueling for the entirety of the race. I had little bottles filled up with enough for 100 grams of carbs per hour, and I would just sip on a bottle an hour, and my goal was to finish it before the start of the next hour. And so, you know, it kind of breaks up the race into, you know, 19 or 20 bottles, and you're just kind of sipping on them constantly, and the ratio in the concoction was really nice.
What you eating?
Breakfast with champions. Big gap. Click a tat. Can I interview you? How was it being left? Oh.
Oh shit.
You may notice I am not wearing a running vest. I really dislike running vests. I would much prefer a running belt, and so that's why I'm actually wearing two running belts. One is one size larger than the other, and so they just kind of nest on my hips, and it's really convenient, and I feel like everything is nice and tight in there and doesn't bounce around like a running vest does, especially after a few hours. Just all that pounding on your shoulders can really get to be annoying. And also it's really important with I have these little baby bottles full of nutrition that Molly can just have ready for me to stash into the belt really quickly at the crew stops. And so I made these layouts of how the aid station should look for her, and talked her through it beforehand, so everything was really nice and easy with crew, and she had a sheet to look at to double check. My goal really, because obviously this was my 5th attempt and I was batting 500 before this in terms of starts being at 4 and finishes being at 2. So really my goal was to finish number 1, because I would like to get that record on the right side of 500 for the time being. And if I had a time goal, it was to run under 20 hours.
What was your training schedule like to get you to feel good about that time goal set?
I really enjoy training day to day, so I was training 6 days a week. My mileage peaked at a little over 80, and I would say I've been building up to this for the entire year and probably have averaged over 65 miles a week for the whole year. Specificity, a lot of the same elevation profile that the race was happening at. Even went out to the course a few times and had actually trained on the entire course in 2024 in the lead up to the actual race, and it even kind of simulated the first 55 miles as they go in the race over the course of a 2-day or training camp. I always have a rest day each week, just to chill, and I don't feel like I need to pound myself into the ground every day. I like letting myself recover a little bit. First highlights came within the first 6 miles while we were on the PCT going around Olali Lake, and got to see this really awesome valley that led up to Mount Jefferson, where there were all these really impressive formations that you didn't really get to see from down below and could only really access on the trails.
I'm currently just waiting in the car. Tyler left at 8 a.m. It is currently now 9:07. He originally had him getting back at the start finish with the first loop at 10:13 a.m. So I'm just having a little snacky. I watched some of my K-drama when I really should be reading my book. And then I'm going to prep all his bear bottles or baby bottles that look like bears with all of his nutrition. And then go over to the aid station and set up to wait for him. Life of a crew. Hurry up and wait.
9 miles in. Cruising. I feel like I need to take my shoe off because I think there's something in my left foot. Oh.
I saw Tyler at 10:14 a.m. Looking good. Didn't talk much. He forgot to put his nipple protection on, so I think there was some chafing. But now he's got that on. He ate some chips. He had a Kit Kat. Drank some water. Loaded up his new belt with 5 baby flasks because I won't see him until about 3:13 when he comes in at the Clackamas Ranger Station.
Oh no, I didn't. Yeah. They're gonna come after that.
Alright, good stuff, you guys. Well here's your good. Alright. Not as nervous last time. Looking good.
Alright. Oh! Ew, now I got the dirty camera. Woo! This is the chair we left behind from our campsite. Alright, so I'm back in service. It is 11:39 a.m. I also really just had to go to the bathroom, and I used the pit toilet here near Timothy Lake, and I was just wiped out on some hand sanitizer on the ground. So I actually didn't think of that scenario of why I wouldn't be able to show up to crew, because I'm always there early, so I'll never miss that. I always try to get there an hour before his dedicated time, so I don't want to be late. But I'm like, okay, what if I'm just about to go run and hike around Timothy Lake? What if I twist my ankle and now I can't get back? What if I was driving down those gravel roads, someone hits me? It's not my fault. They're probably going too fast on those gravel roads because a lot of people are. I don't know. These are all things that went through my head as a crew person, stressing out to make sure I get there on time and it's helpful for them. My stomach just growled, so I'm going to go eat some ramen.
Leaving Olali, I passed through 3 aid stations. First was Pinheads, then Warm Springs, and then the Red Wolf aid station. And these are really remote out by Mount Hood and in between Olali. And I really appreciate all of the volunteers who made it out there. I volunteered at the Warm Springs aid station for another Go Beyond race a couple years ago and know that it is not an easy place to get to. So I really appreciate them being out there, and it made it feel like a breeze going through on my way to the next crude aid station because they were so welcoming. They had everything that I needed. They filled my water quickly, and yeah, that's exactly what you want from aid station, is them to be ready and attentive at, for whatever needs you have. So thanks again to them. Woo. All right, 17 miles in, feeling good. Feet are a little weird, but just ignoring it. Hopefully you have shoes at me at 40, but probably not, because I told you to bring them at 70. Here's the trail. Just cruising along. Really terrible news. Pretty sure both of the bottoms of my feet are just one big blister. Body has failed. Like 33 miles in. Something that went wrong in the first 50 miles was my shoes. For whatever reason, I think I might have tied them too tight, but my foot just kind of didn't have anywhere to slide in them, and so that meant the bottom of my foot was just really rubbing around. And for the first time in well over 500 miles in this type of shoe, I developed blisters like 6 miles in, and had to deal with blisters on the pads of my feet and then eventually my heels for the rest of the race.
So before every aid station I would see Tyler at, I would have to reorganize everything to make sure I have exactly what he needed based on his crew plan, which included pictures, Excel sheets, printouts. So it would be easy for me to choose what is needed. I think my favorite part was, filling up these little bear bottles to make sure I myself did not get sticky, even though it always looks like cough syrup. Ugh. But he drank it all. So I would always have to probably fill up 5 at least twice, because crew aid station to crew aid station, the longest stretch was like he was going to take like 5 hours. Also, I would bring Liquid Death to fill up just his cup to make sure that he gets water, and so I'd bring in a new can each time at the aid station. So here I am just finishing off the last of like 3 cans as well. So this is me looking at making sure I have everything based on the picture, and then I have to check that everything is in the bag as well, because I think I bring that green bag with me. So here I can't find anything. And I'm trying to find, I think, a shirt, because I had to get that specific shirt that was the Go Beyond. And then I drive to the next aid station and wait for him.
Tyler!
When he came in, the first thing he did was just totally bypass myself, our friends Alicia and Greg, even though we were yelling their names and I was like doing this. Just walked right by us into the aid station to refill the water, and then he turned around and then he saw me. He's like, "Oh, there's my crew." And I was like, "Yeah, you walked right by me." Can't be mad about that though. So, but the first thing he says, he's like, "Did you bring my shoes?" And I did not, because it was not in his plans.
Fine.
I did have the thought, oh, should I bring his shoes just in case? And then I didn't. So his feet were kind of hurting him at mile 40, but then he told me that they started hurting at mile 7, which is not something he told me when I saw him at mile 12. He said he must eat chips on this go around, but he did not. He said after he kind of shoveled it in his mouth in the first aid station, he did not. His stomach did not really like that. So he just swapped out his liquid fuel nutrition. He is keeping up with that. So he's having one bare baby bottle an hour, it seems like. So he's out there now with another 5. He had some coffee, he had some soda water. I mean, the soda water wasn't on the list, and I added that. Just didn't bring the shoes. Oh, he said he ran out of water at one point. I think he said he was at one aid station, and the next aid station was going to be another 7 miles. And it was not. I guess it was longer, so he did go a stretch without some water. I don't know for how long.
Also, I'm dripping everywhere. And they were like, "You want a wet wipe?" And I'm like, "It's like making a dam out of a stick." I'm not stopping this. Five.
Here to cheer you on for 5 whole minutes.
Yes.
This is what it is.
I love it.
Oh my god, I can't actually.
You can't? Not one?
I thought it was a for sure.
So sick. Covered in sugar.
Is there any coffee in?
Yeah, you're gonna drink your whole coffee.
Yeah. Open that can of bubbles and I haven't drank it at all. It's almost dead. Oh yeah, this one's dead. I forgot to tell you to charge it. So that's not gonna work.
That's not great.
Is that the only one you brought?
No.
I know, I was thinking about that. I was like, oh well, screwed myself there. So I was gonna charge it last night / this morning. Thank you. How long have we been here? How long has it been recording?
It's been
Too
about
long?
We've been here for a half hour.
It's been 5 minutes and like 20 seconds.
Yeah, you're at 5 minutes. Yeah.
You're fine.
I think you're just under 5 minutes.
Yeah. I started my timer when you were
Yeah.
You didn't see us.
There's a lot of people in here.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna wear you were wearing the neon hat. I was looking for that.
Oh, that's what I was wearing earlier.
Oh, man.
Ah.
You changed it up.
Gotta keep you on your toes, Tyler.
It's warmer now.
I already tripped a bunch of times because it was so dark.
Oh, dear.
Sunglasses.
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah.
My toes into the. Give me some roots.
Yeah, bubbles and caffeine. Oh my gosh, you're just gonna get more
Oh,
sticky.
Yeah.
One that I gave you last time.
Is it even in there?
I don't see it. Nor do I feel it.
So I don't think I took it. I can't do it.
Not even later?
Maybe later.
But like later in your run?
Yeah, later in my run when I see you. About 5 hours from now, maybe I'll reconsider
Also, shorts were already dirty when you started. And then there's something.
Good choice then. Yeah. Don't start with clean.
Yeah.
That's later. That's later snacks too.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
You out?
I'm on.
Good luck.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
Do it, Tyler.
Oh, one more high five.
One more.
Yeah.
One more. There
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot more, but give you another high five.
Yeah.
So long. Thanks.
So long.
You got
Yeah.
this,
Good to
Tyler.
see ya.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Can't wait to
Frenches.
hear how it goes.
Yeah, Frenches, yeah.
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 Yeah. For sure, shoes.
I got you.
16.
Yeah.
And socks.
Got it.
Yeah.
You got it, Tyler.
Bye. Good luck.
The 40-mile update. So right now it's 4:15 p.m. I just saw Tyler come in at 40 miles at about 3:20. He's about in 16th to 18th place. I was keeping track on my phone about how everyone came in, and the nice race report that I have of keeping track. Let's see, I said. So the first place came in at 2:20. So first place came in an hour before Tyler, roughly. And then second and third came in at like 2:30. A fourth runner came in, I think, at one point. I just didn't log the time. Runner number 135 came in at 2:48. And then I, for some odd reason, switched at 2:49. Someone in purple shorts came in. And then at 2:50, someone that was number 52. And then someone who was 50 years or older came in. No, he is 50 years old, because I was talking to his crew member aside from me, and he said he just turned 50. So that's why I wrote that as his descriptor. Then at 2:52, 2 people came in. 2:54, 1 runner came in. Number 11 came in. 2:56, Jamie came in, because everyone was yelling Jamie. 3:03, the first woman came in, and then a man with a gold star on his hat. At 3:05, the second place female came in, and I just said person, another person. Then it was like really like a 10-minute gap until someone else came, and that was like Tyler and like 2 other people around the same time. So I'm gonna go run another hour and come back and eat and see him to switch out his shoes, and hopefully things turn around once the sun goes down. It's at the hottest of the day. So later.
When I hit 50 miles on my watch, I like almost exactly at that point I saw the race leader, and so I knew that we were about 3.5 to 4 miles still to the Frog Lake turnaround. So I knew that he was about 7 or 8 miles ahead of me, but I also knew that that meant I was going to be able to see everybody else who was coming back on the turnaround, going back to Little Crater Lake. So at this point I had left Little Crater Lake and I was going towards Frog Lake. It's a lot of it's a climb. All right, climbing up to Frog Lake. It's taking forever. I probably still have another 5 miles to go to get there. And I could see someone up ahead, and so that, you know, is a really nice carrot to be able to see a racer ahead, and especially to see that he was glancing behind him quite a bit, because I'm sure he saw me, and that just gives you a little extra fire and a little extra motivation to keep pushing. Most of the guys who were on the turnaround were not looking like they were still having their strongest day, and I think that that's due in large part to a lot of, like, there were probably 15 people who went out pretty fast in the beginning. That was the time to chill in my mind. I think that working at the dam aid station last year really gave me a lot of insight into that, and because a lot of racers last year I knew struggled with that, where they, you know, didn't take enough water in the first 12 miles or just got too hot. So I knew not to do that. So back to why I was talking about this, because by mile 55 everyone had kind of cooked themselves, and so I was feeling great at this point despite my feet. And so I knew that it was time to just like really put the hammer down. This was kind of a net downhill section into a very flat section. And so I knew I was going to be able to just kind of zip past people. And if I, you know, get past them and get out of their eyesight, that could be, you know, a little demoralizing to them, which is not necessarily the goal, but certainly if you're trying to race, not a bad thing to have happen.
Darkness. 3-0. 30. Number 30. Mile 68.
66.47 according to the old Garmin.
So I saw him at the dam aid station, which is about 65 miles. And everyone was coming in way further apart than all the other aid stations and later. So when Tyler left the Clackamas Ranger Station, he was about 18th. And so when I saw Purple Shorts, since that's how I know him, is because he wears purple shorts, he was 6th. So I'm like, oh, if he's coming in, it's like 7:50, and Tyler had him arriving at 8:07 p.m. I was like, oh no, did everyone just kind of like shift down because it got chilly and it's dark and everything? But I still went out there, I set everything up, and then I see a runner come in, but the light wasn't a headlight like I gave him. it was just a light that was going down. And I'm like, oh, did he really like hate my headlamp that much that he just took it out of his hand and came in? It gets to where I set up and he goes, the headlight fell out of my belt. I have no idea where it was. And I was like, oh shoot, you were just using your phone that whole entire time? Granted, this was like, I think 45 minutes when it was like pitch dark, and he said it fell out prior it being dark. Because when it got dark, he tried to find it and didn't find it. And then I was like, oh, take out your belt, because I was going to see him in 4 miles. So he wanted to just kind of take everything out and reset and just leave with a water bottle and a bear bottle. The headlight was in his belt the whole entire time. He decided not to switch out his shoes, not because his feet felt better. He just thought switching shoes might make it worse. I don't know. It's his call. So that was the damn aid station.
Baby, I'm just sticky. Everything's sticky. How sticky was I? If you ever watch Big Brother during some competitions, they swim through this sticky substance to go underneath something, and then they, usually have to roll around in some other thing that gets stuck to them. But I was about that sticky. Anything that I touched would stick to me. In fact, I was carrying my bottles sometimes, and I didn't even have to clench them because I knew that my hands were so sticky that the silicone bottle was going to stick to my hand.
To fill up 5 of the bear bottles, because now I'm not going to see him until Olali Meadows, so another 5 hours, where he has a lot of ground to gain on some people, and it's dark, and it's cold, and he's a chilly boy.
I don't know. How did I keep myself going? I don't know. Just told myself that if I maintained the pace that I was going, that it mathematically had to be over in 20 hours. Leaving Clackamas Ranger Station for the second time, I started heading back south toward Olali Lake. And this was actually the 3rd time I had done this section of the PCT. The first time was actually a few weeks ago during a training camp that I did. But again, I was going north. So I was going north earlier in the race, and I was going north during the training camp. So this was the first time I was experiencing it south, and it was also in the dark. And so it was honestly completely different. Feeling. I kicked a lot of rocks, stumbled a lot, but eventually got there.
Okay, last crew update until the finish line. He came in at about 2:44 a.m. when he is currently in 7th place. There was a big gap between 6th and 7th. I have the time. He was about 22 minutes between each other. And he took a tumble while he was taking his runner's belt off, which I guess that's because backpack you can just clip off and it's fine. If you want to take the belt off, you kind of have to like take it off like pants, and so he lost his balance. But he's out there in the last 3 miles, about to hit the finish line, under 20 hours. Let's go!
Molly was a huge reason that I kept going, because without her as crew, setting up the crew station just how I wanted it, which she did every time and she nailed it, without her, wouldn't have been able to do it. She kept me going, for sure. My crew.
Yeah! All right, we have a finisher!
Where's my buckle?
Oh, in my pocket. Oops, got some kitty.
Oh, and sticky stuff already. Ooh, look how great my finger looks. Yummy.
Finisher. Got sub 24 hours, but really sub 20 hours. Final time was 19 hours and 38 minutes. Dang, adding time. He came in and there was a bunch of other crew from the person who finished beforehand, and they were very impressed as how casual he seemed, how he could talk very well, his bucket hat, and how he did it without a pacer. And I guess I was so secretive that some people thought he did it all alone.
Well, yeah.
He ran all alone. Well, great job. We're gonna go sleep. Bye!
Go Beyond Racing, it's like, you know, I've done a bunch of their races, but they do actually, they are actually one of the best race organizations I've ever run with in terms of aid stations, pre-race, post-race. I got a pair of shoes. I won't say a free pair of shoes, but I got a pair of shoes because, you know, I paid the registration. But yeah, pre-race, spaghetti, meal, cookies, as much as you wanted, for your crew as well if they wanted to chip in. And then post-race, big breakfast was available. I was not able to indulge as much as I wanted to due to gastric revolt.